Hi guys,
Hey.
just a little chat about our attempt on Whitney
Yes.
on the 13th of
June
June.
2019. 2 days before the summer solstice. No, a week before the summer solstice, sorry. You wouldn't believe it. We decided to take a zero from the PCT and do a 15-mile round trip up Whitney instead. It's 7.5 miles one way from the Crabtree Ranger Station, which is the last point you are allowed to camp with a PCT permit.
Yeah, if you're on the John Moores.
On the John Muir Trail, if you have a permit for that, you can go much closer to the base of Whitney, but we're PCT hikers, so that's why it's a 15-mile round trip.
We were a bit naive with what our equipment we took. Cyclist bikes, we should have had
Crampons.
crampons.
Yeah, definitely.
Because 90% of the path switchbacks leading up to the junction on Whitney are not there.
Yeah,
It's just like a slope of snow.
We tried to follow the switchbacks, and you just hit a snowfield, as Brian said, at quite an acute angle. There wasn't many footsteps that would have given you any clue as to where to go, and it was because obviously we tried to get there early before the snow got too soft. The snow was extremely hard, and
we left about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we set up at about 1, and the micro bikes didn't really grip. And despite the fact that we had an ice axe with us each, it just, conditions were, I don't like to exaggerate and I don't like to use words like that, but I would describe the conditions going up Whitney as dangerous. I think that's a fair thing to say, isn't it? If you are not confident with your snow skills. If you didn't have
crampons, or if you hadn't had climbing training.
Because the other way around the snowfields is basically a rock scramble on very loose rock. Some of the loosest rock I have ever laid my hands on. Like boulders that size will move. You don't think they could with the weight of them, but they will move. And so it's not ideal, and it's not, the snow is a far safer route, but you need the right equipment. So, any final words?
Watch the video, see if we completed it.
Yeah.
Or did we fail? You'll know at the end. See you guys. 12 o'clock at night.
Well, 1 o'clock in the morning by now, but
is it?
This is us setting off, hoping we can beat the sun to Whitney.
You can just see Heidi. Don't know if you can see anything. I don't think you can, because I can't. We're heading up there.
Well, somehow stumbling around in the dark with the navigation skills of that man there, we have made it to Timberline Lake. And we are actually on the path. This will probably last about 12 seconds again, but you know, on we go.
Look down there, you can just see Heidi coming up. There she is. Minor language, this is a major scramble. And we're not on the top yet. This is just the switchbacks that you can't actually see.
Just regained one of the switchbacks again by accident rather than design. Brian didn't see it, so he's heading for the next turn. This is not nice, I think is the word I'm looking for. But we come this far, we're not turning around. Have a look at this. 1.9 miles to make. Apparently there's extreme danger from lightning up here. There's extreme danger of falling off a mountain, I would say. Yay. We didn't beat the sun. But on the plus side, we're not far from the top now.
This is crazy. We scrambled and did snow feet all the way up. 90% of it is scrambling and snow feet today.
Yeah. It's
If I would have known it was this bad, I would have done it. But it's beautiful.
That it is. We just hope we can get off this mountain now. Yeah. Well, not now, obviously, once we've been to the top. And this is with pass. Brief respite from the scramble. Because that's where we've just come from. Honestly, you couldn't make this up. Nearly there. I can almost touch it. But we decided to stop and have breakfast. Because it just occurred to us that we've been going for 8 hours and we have not stopped or eaten. So that's not really an intelligent thing to do. Yeah, it's taken us longer than we had hoped. You know, unsurprisingly really, because the whole switchbacks is about, what is it, like a mile and a half of switchbacks? They're basically invisible, buried. And not just buried invisible, but buried invisible steep. So you can't just kind of carry on and say, oh, I'll think that might be where it was. The snow is just...
Yeah.
Well...
You have to chisel steps.
Yeah. Well, that's what we did, because we scrambled up the hill, basically, as apparently did everybody else. On the plus side, no altitude sickness. There's the hut. Brian's convinced they're selling beer in there. So he's going to run up there.
Yeah, but I've run there and back already. I'm not doing it again. I think it's the same you do after everything.
That's where they're keeping the beer cool.
There's no beer. Don't know if you can go in and get to see the sign.
Oh. Extreme danger from lightning. Oh, nice. This is a historic building. Writing on the walls is a federal crime, and everybody's written on the walls. Still no beer?
No beer.
I don't know, what did we come up here for?
This is beautiful.
The fun part begins. Getting back down this hill. on a slope that's about, I don't know, 60 degrees? Oh well. That's what he made ice axes for. Made it back to the junction. This is where the hard part starts. First of the switchbacks is perfectly visible. And then, yeah. Let's hope the snow is soft enough to make it easy. We finally made it off the mountain. We're now sludging through the slushiest of slushy snow. But have a look at these mountains and the clouds above them. This is all the stuff we went through in the darkness this morning, which we don't normally like, but and there's Guitar Lake from the bottom. You have to sort of guess the guitar shape from here. That means we're about 3 miles from camp. So if we carry on making 1 mile an hour progress in slushy snow, we'll get back to our tent for 7. Woo! Whitney, what can we say? What a day. Started at 1 o'clock in the morning, guessing our way to, through the night. It was pitch black, footsteps non-existent, trail at first nice, then got buried very, very quickly. I could show you the line here, but really how we actually walked was probably more like that. We were dead delighted when we found a sign saying we were at Timberline Lake, because it meant we were at least on the right side of the lake. It really is bizarre walking in the dark when there's no trail visible, because you just, we followed the navigation system, but you're just walking straight into, trees and rock walls and stuff. Not into as in like bumping into them, but because you can't see them until you stood in front of them. You're like, oh, okay, I'm probably too far to the left or too far to the right now. And it was a long, hard walk. That early in the morning, we didn't have that much sleep, unfortunately, because we had arrived later than we intended at the other campsite. We eventually got to the top of Guitar Lake, we guessed, because it's not like we could have seen anything in the dark, where we filled up some water and met some people coming the other way who had already stopped their approach to Whitney. One because of altitude sickness, we don't know why the other one stopped. Probably the same thing, to be honest. At this point, you're at about, 11,544. And then the climb is still relatively gentle until you kind of hit the bottom of the switchbacks. The switchbacks that didn't exist, basically. Now, we went up the switchbacks pretty much in that sort of line, straight up, because we tried to stick to the path, but there was no path. You could maybe see a couple of meters, and then there would be snowfield, with no way of knowing where the turn should have been. The snowfields are steep. It's not Whitney. It's a steep climb between this point here and the trail junction. The Whitney Portal Junction. You climb about, over 1,000 foot in a mile. It's steep. So we just bushwhacked it up like everybody else did, on the snowfields when possible, on the rocks when not. And we got to the top, I think it was... I mean, daylight had already well broken by that time. We were exhausted, but, you know, we'd made it that far, we might as well carry on. So we started our final approach to Whitney, which looks really nice and straightforward, but some of these little trails were like 2 inches wide and clinging to a rock face. It was so scary. We made it to Mount Whitney at 10 to 11, so it had taken us nearly 10 hours to do 7.5 miles, and then we had to do the same thing back again, which was honestly the scariest stuff I've ever done in my life, because climbing up switchbacks like that is one thing, having to come down them when you can see as well, because of course by then it was daylight and the snow started getting slushy, and it was, yeah. We finally made it back to our campsite at 6 o'clock. So it took us all in all 17 hours to do a 15-mile hike.